U.S. and Canadian diplomats praised the taste of pineapples grown in Taiwan Tuesday. It comes after Beijing banned pineapple imports from Taiwan last week, saying they could have harmful creatures on them. But Taiwan says the ban is a political move to put pressure on the island.
What did you have for dinner last night? You might be surprised to know where your food likely comes from: China. Now, almost 80% of the tilapia Americans consume comes from China. Also, 70% of the apple juice, 50% of the cod, 43% of the processed mushrooms, 23% of the garlic, and over 90% of your vitamin C. Many people already know their smartphone was likely made in China, but few have likely considered their baked tilapia might be from China as well. The CCP virus, or coronavirus, pandemic exposed exactly how much America relies on China for critical products. Products such as antibiotics, medical safety supplies, supplies for smartphones, computers, and military hardware are all manufactured by Chinese factories. According to the Congressional Research Service report, in 2018, the United States imported 5% of its food imports, which is about $7.5 billion worth of imports. The top items were fresh or prepared fish, seafood, and prepared fruits or vegetables. The trend is still picking up as the imported food shipments from Asia accelerated in recent years. While the total number might not seem large, America's dependence on food items from China does leave U.S. consumers dangerously vulnerable to food safety issues. At home, China is plagued by a barrage of food safety incidents: deadly infant formula, honey laced with dangerous antimicrobials, eggs dyed with cancer-causing pigments, clenbuterol-tainted pork, toxic metal pollution of grain, soy sauce made from human hair, and poisonous ham. These problems have also found their way to the United States. In March of 2007, there was a wide recall of many brands of cat and dog foods due to contamination with melamine and cyanuric acid. There were numerous media reports of animal deaths as a result of kidney failure. The FDA traced the melamine products, labeled as wheat gluten and rice protein concentrate, common ingredients found in pet food, as being imported from 2 Chinese companies.
配上没的药就可以了，没问题。
用这个会不会伤害到身体健康啊？
少喷一点没关系，用水泡泡差不多就没事。
In July of 2007, California state inspectors discovered that ginger, which had been imported from China and sold to many local supermarkets, contained a dangerous pesticide. State health officials warned Californians to avoid ginger grown in China.
What's interesting is here we have, the U.S. regulators, putting tariffs on Chinese shrimp, concerns about that, and the Chinese, kind of dealing with that, but they found ways to get around it, and they continue to.
Absolutely, and it really traces through that about, I don't even know if you would call them
In 2016, a Bloomberg Businessweek investigation reported that a Chinese company was found to have shipped to the United States shrimp labeled as product of Malaysia. This tested positive for a banned antibiotic. U.S. authorities then discovered that the shrimp was actually from China and not Malaysia.
So from that standpoint,
The most direct threat from China to American food security, however, is perhaps the country's ownership of Smithfield Foods. In 2013, Chinese food giant Shuanghui International, later rebranded as WH Group, bought Smithfield Foods, America's and the world's largest pork processor and hog producer. It remains the largest total acquisition of a U.S. company by a Chinese corporation. With that purchase, the Chinese owned 1 in 4 pigs raised in the United States and, by adding 146,000 acres, continued to be the world's largest buyer of American farmland. China also gained oversight of nearly 50 meat processing facilities and about 1 million sows, which feed tens of millions of Americans. In any given year, Smithfield's sales exceed $15 billion, with the company selling more than 10 billion pounds of fresh pork and packaged meats per year.
Food security is absolutely essential to national security. And it's why food and agriculture are such an important...
Senator Debbie Stabenow said during a PBS NewsHour investigation, "Food security is national security, and I can't imagine that the American people will feel comfortable if they wake up someday and find that half of our food processors are owned by China." This reinforces the U.S. is paying attention to this issue. Now there is another side to this problem. In early March of 2021, China suddenly announced a ban on pineapples from Taiwan, citing discovery of pests in shipments. The ban was, however, reversed after the outburst of support from the country's farmers, from local consumers, and the international community. However, Beijing's war on Taiwanese fruit and Australian wine in 2020 does remind us that even agricultural products can be used as weapons in the global struggle for power. We did see an earlier episode of this. In June of 2020, China reportedly told state-owned firms to stop buying U.S. soybeans and pork. This was in retaliation to President Trump announcing that he would strip Hong Kong of its special status in the wake of Beijing's Hong Kong crackdown. According to an infographic published by the Wilson Center in 2014, China is the largest foreign market for U.S. food and agricultural products, while the United States is the second largest foreign market for China's agricultural commodities. The interconnectedness of our food chains may lead us to ask a question. Are these potential risks in our geopolitical competition with China?